Good afternoon, students. Good afternoon, students.
Good afternoon, sir.
Okay. Can you hear me very well?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm sorry we are starting a little behind schedule. Want to continue. I'm not sure that I was not very that many people are aware of the course. I sent the message late, but I know they are going to get the recorded version. And then
Five
uh,
liters, sir.
uh,
And that's three bottles now. Oh, sorry.
I know that our last class, I informed all of us, all the members of the class then, that we are going to have class today by 2 o'clock. So I sent the message late, but it is not supposed to, people are already supposed to be aware. So we had a reasonable number that day. Let's go on, since I'm sure they will have a recorded version. We have, today we are going to look at Unit 2, Listening and Comprehending. Listening and Comprehending. We want to look at the relationship between listening and comprehending. What do we mean? The good relationship here is that when you listen for the purpose of comprehension. You cannot comprehend without listening, so they are too closely related. They are very much related. So that is the first thing we are going to look at. The emphasis has always been on the importance of listening. But the relationship is that the major reason why we listen is for us to comprehend. And we cannot comprehend when we do not listen. I'm not going to take you back to what we said last time. Yes, what we said last time, we try to differentiate listening, explain listening, talk about listening enabling skills, and so on. So do not forget that listening has to do with paying special attention, being focused, being not being distracted. And then today we are looking at it from the angle of the fact that the reason for listening is for us to be able to comprehend. Comprehend means understand or understanding. So we need to understand whenever we are being taught. Understanding becomes the key thing. You listen to comprehend and you comprehend while listening. So this is a very important thing. Very, very important. So I encourage you to continue to follow us as we move on so that we see some of the things that are very important in the course of this relationship. We listen to comprehend and we comprehend while listening. That's a serious thing. So now let us move further um, to some of these. We want to look at listening comprehension. What are the things that are involved? Some of the things that are being said maybe have been repeated or said in one way or the other. But that is also to draw your attention, to drum it clearly, to make sure that you understand exactly the integral parts or what it all takes to listen. So, in this place, we are going to look at how to comprehend. How to comprehend. What do we do for us to be able to comprehend? Remember, we said we listen to comprehend and we comprehend while listening. Now we are now looking at steps. What are we going to? So the purpose of listening is so for us to comprehend, and we cannot comprehend while we do not listen. Basically, quite related. So, and that's why we are now saying, in order to comprehend, you should listen attentively. In order to comprehend, you should listen what? Attentively. So that's what is important here. Attentively means that you are ready to remove every distraction around you. You are ready to avoid everything. Sometimes people are gathered as an audience, but their mind is somewhere else. So even though the person is present, it does not mean he's listening attentively. But if we listen attentively, it means we are paying special attention. We are focused on what the speaker is saying, and it will enhance our comprehension. And if we do that, the next thing is that we'll be able to follow the speaker. Just like one of the things I usually do is to use play or film which people watch, or folk tales. But then that one, folk tales, going becoming old model. It is not in every family that folk tales are being made or said or narrated, and because of that. But yes, the one that is obvious is that we watch films in our homes. So when we are watching film and you want to follow the film, the stages, the the plot structure of the film, it then means you don't need to be distracted. Even if a person passes at the point where the television is hanged, you may feel bad that it's about to distract you. So you need to follow the the plot. You need to follow the stages of the film one after the other, that you can so that you can narrate or you can understand all the stages that are involved in the plot of the film. So that is about film. But when you are following or listening to an audience, or yes, listening to a speaker, I mean, you need to follow the speaker. If you are focused, you are paying attention, the next thing is to follow the speaker. Whatever he says, whatever stage he is, because you are paying attention, you'll be able to follow the steps. If he finishes the first one, for instance, the introduction, he goes to the second. So this is one of the things we usually do for us to achieve comprehension. And then this relationship between listening and comprehension would begin to work out. The next one is that we possess a wide range of vocabulary related to the subject being discussed. A wide range of vocabulary. Yes. I do not know how it is planned in this. In our own, for instance, in most conventional universities, novels are used to support um, the reading ability of the students or to increase their vocabulary development. Novels are recommended and assignments given so that they'll be able to read novels and then pick out strange words or vocabulary from that novel. One, it helps to increase the stock of vocabulary. It makes them to build much more. Their repertoire increases in terms of the stock of words. So what we are saying here is that the more number of words, if you possess a wide range of words, it helps you, especially in the related subject being discussed. It helps you that whatever the speaker says, you'll be able to understand. But in a situation where you are not equipped with some of the words, you do not have idea. Some words are said, some words are presented, and you do not know what they mean. It will distort your comprehension. So that is the reason why reading of novels, especially novels that are well written, is advocated. Many people know that for you to grow in language, you need to read some novels, read newspapers, and then you grow in so many subjects. you are increasing the stock of words. That is what improves your flow. The flow of your understanding is improved because you have many stock. That is to say, you have a lot of words stored, a lot of vocabulary which you have that can help you to comprehend what the speaker is being saying. Now, the next one is recognize general speech pattern and major speech divisions such as introduction, main body of speech, transitional clues, change of idea, shift of emphasis, summary, concluding remark, and so on. This one is important. Yes, a good listener, apart from the other points we have mentioned above, is supposed to understand the speech pattern of the speaker if you are a good listener. The speech pattern of the listener or the speaker is very important. You'll be able to know when the speaker is doing an introduction, you'll be able to know when he has moved from the introduction to the main body of the speech. And then what we call transitional clues. Transitional clues are like maybe what we call cogents or adjuncts, or what helps us to navigate from one paragraph to the other, from one major point to another major point. Somebody could be speaking to you and he says, additionally. That is to say, he wants to move from one point to another. Or he could, on the contrary, he said, however. That is to say, he wants to change dimension. That is to say, from the direction he was going, he wants to talk about the contrary perception or perspective. So, these are transitional clues. Then it could be also change of ideas, shift of emphasis. People sometimes derail. Sometimes they leave the topic they are talking about, and go to another thing to give stories, make analogies. Those stories help you to recognize, for you to know exactly what he is trying to say. He uses it as places it side by side with what he's teaching. He feels that that story is supposed to make you. Preachers use such stories sometimes to give to beef up the faith of the faithful. When you are listening to some preachers, they sometimes give you a story of what has happened, of who somebody who has experienced one or two things, is trying to beef up your faith. After giving you the story, he comes back to his preaching where he stopped. You'll be able to understand that change of ideas or shift of emphasis. Yes. So sometimes you see the people shift emphasis. What he emphasized is different from what you or what others could emphasize. But those things he emphasized. That's why students are encouraged to be present during lectures. Yes, especially when it is a physical one, even this online one. The reason is that when you listen, you'll be able to understand the speech pattern of the speaker, and you'll be able to understand or really get to know the focus of the speaker. And because of his personal nuances, his personal ways of action, the way he shows emphasis on a particular thing, you'll be able to understand, even from where the examination questions could come from, because most of the teachers are the same person who set the exam. So when he emphasizes a particular subject, a particular topic, a particular point, there is reason for that emphasis. It may not only be for its importance, but it may be that he has intention to set those things in the exams. So we try to make sure that we following speech pattern and speech major speech divisions, we will be able to get this. And then we also know when he's concluding or what the summary is all about. is important. So, if you are listening and you focus attention and you follow the speaker and you possess a wide range of vocabulary, it will not be difficult for you to recognize, yes, the concluding remarks. So, or it will not be difficult for you to know when it is this person is talking about the summary. So, these are very, very important, and we ought to note this. Another one is to put your experience of the world to bear on the topic. Yes, and that is why if somebody is talking about a place you have been, your experience helps. Yes, if he mentions a particular thing, so you try to use your experience to see. Maybe he's talking about travel. Immediately he mentioned travel. What comes, and you have traveled before. What comes to your mind is the experiences you had, the type of experience you usually have when you travel. So that will expose you. That will open your horizon. It will not be difficult for you. So you will now bring your experience to bear with what is saying. It is you cannot be the same. Let's say somebody is talking about boarding an aircraft, and at a time you have also boarded an aircraft. So, and maybe the service that takes place or announcements that takes place in an aircraft, that will immediately begins with that, because you've once boarded an aircraft, you already know what goes on in an aircraft. So what you will do is to recall or do a flash. There is a flash of mind to that area, which you use. You are now using that to connect to what he's saying and to make your experience wide. And then it will help you to understand what he's saying very well. The picture will become clearer. And then the last of what you are supposed to do for you to comprehend is to show interest in the topic. Remember, you don't have a choice. You have no choice of whether you like it or not, like the topic that is being discussed or not. No, you have no choice. Your interest is supposed to be there. It's just like students who, for one reason or the other, will hate the lecturer. Maybe he does not dress the way you like, or maybe he paints, if he's a woman, paints sometimes some ways you don't like, and because of that, you begin to hate the lecturer. And before long, you are also hating the subject he's teaching. It happens in the secondary school very well, where some lecturers or some teachers are hated. And because they are hated by students, students will begin to do very badly in that subject. So it's always advised that you don't show hatred to your teacher or to your lecturer, no matter what. Your interest, so you should develop interest in what he's teaching. Whether you like him or her, it does not matter. What matters is that you have interest in what he's teaching. Sometimes another thing that will make us not to show interest is that sometimes we could think that what is being taught does not have any relationship in our practical life experience. And then because of that, we'll begin to say, what am I going to do with this? And then you will not show interest. Better do, show interest. You may not know what tomorrow has in stock. Tomorrow, that topic that you didn't know or you didn't think that will be relevant may be relevant. And also, not only that it may be relevant, you may not know other connections that are necessary in that topic. And by the time you finish, that is when you will only realize, hey, look at, you now begin to worry yourself that you have failed to do what you are supposed to do. So these are some of the things that we do to enable us comprehend very well. Look at it where it is stated clearly. It is stated in a diagram so that you'll be able to follow. Apart from what we have explained, comprehension steps. You cannot comprehend without listening, and we listen to comprehend. How to take these steps? Show high concentration. High. Can you see it? I'm only emphasizing what I've said before. And he wants to specify. Show high concentration. Avoid noise and distraction. Yes, when you show high concentration, you will also be, you should be ensure that you don't constitute noise or distraction, both to yourself and to others. Be focused and do not let your mind wander away. Yes, I mentioned that when I was talking about, yes, being focused. It is not like you are here, but your mind is in Lagos. No, no, no. You are not focused. And two, fix your eye on the speaker. These are the things you do. When you fix your eye on the speaker, it will help you not to be easily distracted. Little things will not distract you because distraction can easily come anyhow. This time around, do not touch your phone. Yes, phones are also a very strong distractors. Detractors. One or two things. Your phone could make a noise. You hear pom pom, and a message comes, and you want to check who sent the message. That is, you have lost focus. You are no more listening attentively. So, if you are, what you are going to do is that each time you are listening to lecture, you'll be able to keep your phone aside, put it off if possible, or put it in vibration as well as, but it is not supposed to be part of what we are using. Yes, it is important. So even though it is not mentioned here, it is very, very important. Keep your phone aside and do not operate your phone while you are listening. Follow the speaker. Imagine what he's saying. Speak along with him and be close to him in thought. That is to say, you begin to envisage. Follow his line of thought and begin to meditate. And also envisage what he could say, or envisage the angle the thought process is going, or the plot of the, if it is a story, plot of the story is going. That is how people could guess what the speaker intends to say, and so on. So follow the speaker. I'm just repeating what we have said. Possess a lot of vocabulary so that it will be clearer. If you look, after looking at this, you will not read widely on the topic before the lecture. Yes, apart from the literature novels I told you I recommended, yes, the very one that is important. How many students will do this? I once told my students that making first class is not a difficult thing if you use the approach. And I'm saying that before you now again. It's not very difficult, but it requires so much sacrifice and focus. Read widely on the topic before the lecture. If you are able to read on the topic that will be treated before the lecture, and then take your notes during the lectures, listen attentively without distraction, and take your notes and come back again and read that after the class. And at the end, make notes that you will use to revise during the exam. If you were able to make this in all the classes you attend, your first class is with you. Nobody will take it away from you. Whether you take yourself to be intelligent or not, you will just see that you have what it takes to get there. So, what are we saying? What we are saying is here is that you need to possess, so search the library. This time around, both AI and phone has made learning easy. Even though our generation, our youths, are not doing what they are supposed to do, they are abusing it. They are using the phone. The phone has enormous facilities, enormous things embedded or that exist in the phone that is supposed to be of help to learning. You can search out anything you want in Google. You can. You through AI. Yes, these are the good sides of it. But what the students do is that when they are given assignment, instead of making attempts to read and attempt that assignment, or they just go and Google and copy whatever it has said, they won't even read it and they submit. That one is a very bad style. And I know there are already checks on this. Now, recognize general speech pattern. These are the things we know what introduction is given, when introduction or what introduction is given. Be conscious of the major speech division. Note traditional words now, then, later. On the other hand, firstly, however, I've mentioned this thing before. So you can see. And then we talk about the last one you mentioned here is the previous knowledge. Let's practice all these steps. So it's left for you to practice this step. Think about what you know about the topic before. That's why you read ahead. Meditate on it. Whether you have you had the experience of before or not, think about what is going on the at the moment related to the topic. What are the contemporary issues? Is it about leadership? What is the situation that is obvious? These are very important. If you follow this very well. So in this case, you can see some exercises for you and also some passages for you to read. We're not going to take those ones. We're going to continue with our classes. Take time and work on these exercises, and you see your improvement. Now let us look at unit 3.3, factors affecting comprehension. Factors affecting comprehension. Let's look at this. Yes, one of them is the following factors can affect the rate of our comprehension. Not being familiar with the topic, lack of concentration, lack of interest, limited language and vocabulary of the subject matter, inability to think deeply. These are the points that could make us not to comprehend, factors that can affect comprehension. Not being familiar with the topic. That is why sometimes topics are mentioned and you find out that you don't have any knowledge. You have no knowledge of the topic at all. Earlier on, you don't have any knowledge. So, but if you are a wise person and you have gone through the topic beforehand, before that time, it helps. It helps seriously. That thing you do not know. You are supposed to have, as a student, have dictionaries in your phone, then have other AI tools, so that at any particular time you are searching for something, a topic. So that is why you are supposed to create time, even if it is 30 minutes before the class, to look at the topic that you are going to preach. For instance, if you have already, you could guess that we are going to continue with listening and comprehension today. Therefore, you are expected to have gone through this topic in one way or the other. Not that you are getting to know about it for the first time. So there is a difference that you are listening to it for the first time, and there's a serious difference when you are listening to a topic for the first time and when you are familiar with that topic. It is different. You already have this material. You can go through them beforehand. You can go Google. When you Google, you'll be able to see one or two things, much more, and then that will expose you. So if you are not familiar with the topic and you didn't make any effort to be familiar with the topic, it will affect your comprehension. Another one is what we talk about lack of concentration. That one is caused by distractions from here and there. Just like I told you, some people can be physically present where they are, but they are far from the place their body is. Yes, it could be, it happens mostly to the female folk. It's not like it is limited to, but mostly it affects the female folks who are more emotional. Sometimes some of them go, some of the female
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Maybe he lost his connection. Let's just hold on for him. Okay,
All
okay.
right.
uh, I'm back. So we are talking about factors that affect our comprehension. That's what we are talking about. Let me try to get to where we are before now. Yes, this is where we are. So we are talking. Are you there with me? Hello.
Yes,
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 sir.
sir. We
Yes,
can
sir. We
hear
are
you.
hearing you.
All
Can
right.
hear you, sir.
Yes.
Okay. So we are looking at concentration. So I just like I was talking about, I was saying something about the female folk. The female folk usually are victims. When they think about a relationship, it could affect where they are and what they are doing at a particular time. They could be uh, bodily present but absent-minded. So the mood of the person changes because of what has happened in the person's life or what is happening in the person's life. So you try to avoid that. How do we do that? What you do is that if you have, whether you have a problem in the family or whether you have a problem with a friend, even though I said it's very wrong, and that's not the topic of this, but I avoid it, so it's wrong before God and before uh, humanity. Now, if you have a relationship and you have a problem, keep that aside. Train yourself to keep those things aside when you want to learn. When you finish, you can continue to think about it. One man will say worries do not solve any problem. All right. Then another one is lack of interest. Just like I have said, if you hate a person, you are hating somebody who is, in one way or the other, supposed to be part of the person that determines your future. He doesn't work the way you like, and because of that, you hate the person. What for? So it is not advocated. You don't need to hate, you don't need to lack interest. Have your interest, it's important. Your interest is good. Your interest Show interest because you know what you are looking for. So if you get what you need, tomorrow you may see the person, you may not like to talk to him. That one is a different ballgame. But show interest so that you'll be able to gain maximally what the person is teaching. It does not mean one man will say and one that salutation is not love. That you have listened to somebody does not mean you love the person. Therefore, for the purpose of learning, learn to be interested in what the person is saying, but you may not be interested in the person himself. So show interest in the topics that are being taught and in the course you are doing to help you. If you have, for instance, you are doing a course and for one reason or the other, that course you are doing, you don't like it so much. No, what you are going to do, that you are not interested in the course does not make you change. What you need to do is to put all your effort so that you may do well. And the score you have got in that course is what will help you move to the next. Maybe you can now change admission, change course. But if you have performed poorly, you will not even have the tickets to move to the desired course. Now, limited language and vocabulary of the subject matter. What can always help you is when you have read the particular area you are to be that will be treated for you, then you'll be able to get or encounter some strange words. In those strange words, you look them up in the dictionary, even though you may not understand them vividly, but it will throw some light of meaning. Then add it to the ones it will explain why the lecture is going on. Then you'll definitely be better than somebody who never did. So sometimes we have limited language or vocabulary of the subject matter. We do not have idea. Now that you are not reading novels to equip your vocabulary, though you can do that privately, it's encouraged. You read novels or newspapers so that you see different constructions that are made. It improves, and then words, you check their meaning and so on, enrich your vocabulary. But even as at that, even when you don't read most often, what you can do to help yourself is that you can easily move to the topic that you are about to treat a day, some hours before the time, and go through them. Check the vocabularies that are there that you don't know in the dictionary, and you see that you'll be making some meaning. These things you don't understand, allow the person who is explaining them to you, pay attention and show interest. You will see that you get much from that particular topic. Then another one is inability to think deeply. Yes, and this one is caused by the fact that sometimes you are distracted. Some environments could create one or two distractions, even a little thing. Maybe it is a place you are close to the window, and it's a place that you can see people that passes. One small thing, you turn and look at somebody that has just passed from there. You can't think deeply. So if you don't think deeply, why there are some things you don't understand, you need to read it again and again. Meditate on them, on such words. If they are words you understand by just facially looking at the word, but you don't understand the context or the meaning, you read it again and then you need to think deeply. There are things, expressions that need your thinking. What do they mean exactly? So as we are talking about factors that affect our rate of comprehension, these are part of it. If we do not think along with the speaker, we will not be able to comprehend. Our rate of comprehension will be very poor. So let's move to the next unit. Let's move to the next unit before our time elapses. Yes, this one is the passage. So do not mistake this for part of what we're going to do, but you can read it. Factors for choosing a mate. It has to do with marriage. This exercise or this particular passage is about marriage. And when you read this very well, you are expected to answer questions on it. Look at it, a passage to be recorded, something like that. But we have another topic, Unit 3. Note, listening, comprehension, and note taking. Very, very important. A very, very important topic that we cannot do without. At this juncture, we have talked about listening comprehension. We listen to for the purpose of comprehension, and we cannot comprehend except we listen. That's a very serious relationship that exists between listening and comprehension. In this case, in this topic, we are looking at listening comprehension and note taking. And what is note taking? What we are seeing here is not only even note taking alone, but note making as well. Yes. So I'm sure that if you pay attention very well, you'll be going home with a lot. You'll be enriched apart from what has been noted for you in this course guide or course material. Note taking is what we do in the course of listening. Note taking is what we do in the course of listening. Yes. The problem we have, most students have, is that they do not know how to take notes. What they want to do is to copy all that the lecturer or the speaker has said, which is impossible. It is impossible. And the problem or the failure of understanding this started in the primary school. Maybe that's why this note taking and making should have been a primary and secondary school, should have been treated in the primary and secondary school, so that maybe it is a skill would have imbibed before coming to the tertiary or tertiary institution. Why do I say that? The style of note taking is that you are a good listener, you pay attention, that's concentration. When a speaker or a lecturer is explaining something to you, you pay serious attention. He makes one or two sentences. You are listening. You are thinking along with him. You are following the speaker. When he finishes his sentence, there is something that you need to note. There is something that you have captured. In your own words, you just note one or two words to remember it. That's what is expected. Note takings are summary. Summary words could be one or two words, three. Yes, that are made after a particular expression, or after a particular explanation by the speaker or by the lecturer. So when somebody is explaining something to you, you are listening, you are following what he's saying, gradually one after the other. At the end, you say, okay, he's talking about production, the right production. Yes, or the process of production, the right process of production. The way he has said it does not matter. It does not matter. But what we do is that if he says the process of production begins from the site, it begins from a good siting, this is and that, and you want to write, before you write 2 lines, you have missed 10 words. And when you come back to read it again, you are confused. Most importantly, as we go on, you are going to understand some secrets. There are some secrets that you are going to understand, which is very important. So note taking, when we listen very well and pay attention, we're able to take note. But remember that your note taking is not to take note or to write down all that the lecturer has said. No spirit can achieve that. You cannot achieve it, but you can summarize. You can jot any aspect that he has mentioned. You'll be able to jot it. It is important. Jot it. Jottings. We can call it jottings. But when you jot, there are rules to it. The rules to it is this. You remember I've talked about making first class. These are the part of the ingredients and tactics that help us to make first class if we want. Now, the next stage, if you have obeyed the rules of listening and comprehension, You have avoided distraction, you are following the speaker, you are concentrating, you are showing interest, all this. Then you have also understood the point that you need to summarize and not to write everything the lecturer is saying. If you have all done this, the next stage is that when you finish note taking, the rule of note taking is that when you finish note taking, you don't leave it for so long before you go through it. The best and the highest approach to it is that the best is to look at it within 24 hours when your mind is very fresh, when you can still remember what you did. Even when you recall or you can present the image of the lecturer or the speaker before you and the way he was saying it and so on. So within 24 hours the best, but in ideal sense, not more than 48 hours. But I know that many people don't do this. What they do is that when they jot their notes, they keep them aside. They may not look at it until after 2 weeks, or may not even look at it until exam time. That is disastrous. That thing you scribbled as notes or jots, they are just wasted time. You just wasted their time. When next, if after 1 month you come to it, you will not be able to understand up to 20% of what you meant, because there may have been some omitted words and so on. So you will see that what you have done you have lost. When you read, you can't read. But if you had taken within 24 hours to read, go through what you have done, and that is when we now talk of note making. Within the 24 hours or at most 48 hours, you now come back with your notes, the jots you have made, and begin to make notes. Yeah, now you want to enlarge those summaries you have done. In the aspect of production, he was talking about procurement of material and then production. You explain what it meant, how it went, and so on. These are the steps which you take or which you do, and it applies. So if you are taking a note, take notes with the hope that you are going to make a note from it. And when we make notes, it's also important that we should know that in the course of making our notes, we have we can consult tests, different tests. Yes, assuming you are making a note and you see something that is contradictory from what the lecturer has said, nothing stops you from consulting a test so that you'll be able to jot or write exactly what you are sure of. And then you can go back later on to ask questions. Immediately you are a person that asks questions in one way or the other, the lecturer has no alternative than to like it. That's another way. So you can now see that these 2 points we have mentioned are very important. Now the next one is how to take notes from lectures. Do's and don'ts of taking notes. We do not have all the time, but let's see whether we can talk about what to do. I've explained to you very well what we mean by notes taking. And then the next one is how to take notes. It's not far from what we have done before. Yes, how to take notes from lectures. It gives you training on how you can take notes from lectures, seminars, and tutorials from speeches. The rules are simple and straightforward. You should not forget them. Listen carefully to the lecturer. Listen. Paying attention is very important. That, you see, these things that cannot be compromised. Pay attention. Yes, from the time the lecture started and the time it ends. So now, not like I told you, some students write as soon as something is said. No, don't do that. What you do is to listen and then summarize. Summarize. Put ideas together before you write down. It is important. I've explained this. Understanding. Yes, understand what the speaker is saying before attempting to take notes. Yes, don't write what you don't understand. If there's an aspect he has mentioned and you don't understand it, there's no way you can write what will help you. There's no way. You cannot. What you write will definitely be not. So it's better you didn't write or you take note of the place so that you go and read it personally than you are writing when you know that you didn't get it. So write down what you understand. It's important. Then another one is to put down the summary. I think I've said it. There's no need. Then there's no need. I'm talking about putting down summary again, which I've emphasized. Yes. In the summary you are doing, you know when there are some irrelevancies, or there are sometimes the speaker decides to derail, to digress. That is to say, he leaves the topic of discussion and goes into another. And when he goes into another, he begins to make analogies, give stories. Those things are not part of the lecture. He's only trying to use them to make you understand. So, then another one is to use abbreviation. This will help you. It will help you very well. To help you to be able to write fast. Use abbreviations as much as possible. Yes, forms of administration. You see a list of them so that you don't have a problem on how to move your words or write words, because it's BC. Abbreviation is ABR. Something is STH. Somebody is SB. So, but these things are for your notes, for your jots. They are not expected to be used in formal writing. Don't use them in formal writing. No. If not, you are expected to, you cannot pass. So use symbols when necessary or important. There are many symbols. So like equals to, not equals to, approximately, greater than, less than, therefore, because. So all these are part of, all these are symbols you can use. Know these symbols so that when you have it, yes, you'll be able to achieve that movement. I want you to note that these symbols are there. It's you who create them, or you can even create others that are not here. Yes, they are important. So our time is up, but then we're still about to round up. So those things are the things you do for you to do effective note taking. You use symbols. You are able to write in summary form. You're able to pay attention, and so on. These are the things you are expected to do while you are taking notes. So, the last thing, well, this one is a passage. Let me talk about the do's and don'ts of note taking. Yes. It has been said indirectly, but let's emphasize it. Irrelevancies are removed from the notes. Yes. Irrelevancies are removed. We will try to make sure that we try to make sure that we pay attention to key points, major points. You listen, you know when there is digression, you know when there are examples, you know when there are illustrations, they are all different things. The main thing which you are supposed to have is what you pay attention to. When you pay attention to that, it will help you very well. So pay attention. Now always use abbreviations. Abbreviations are used. Then headings and subheadings of notes are consistent. It is using an example of this passage that he has done. Yes, so always take note of headings and subheadings when you are taking notes. It will help you, so that it will help you to demarcate between ideas from here and ideas from the other. Thank you very much for listening. That's where we want to draw the curtain. But before we conclude, let me believe that in one way or the other, there could be one question or the other. We had a few persons also today, about 20 participants. I know we are all supposed to be more than 100, but I know by next week, our next class is on Wednesday. It's on Wednesday, I think 6:30 or thereabout. So Wednesday, take note, I'm going to send invitation and then passcode. But whether or not, even if it is a minute to the time you check your mail, you will see it and join. Wednesday, next week, every Wednesday. By God's grace, we are not owing now. from next week, it will be normal if nothing obstructs our class. We are supposed to continue. We're supposed to continue seamlessly. So please, my dear students, you are free to ask questions now if you have, or make comments. Is there any comment, any question from anybody?
Okay, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, sorry. My own question is regarding the facilitation. Like our discussion forum is not open yet.
Okay, let me open it now. I'll do that now. I think
Okay.
somebody complained that last time, but I'll do
Okay.
that now. Yes, any other issue? Did you follow what we did? No. Did you follow in what we did?
Yeah, yes, sir. I did. I really appreciate this class, and I won't lie. I must be honest. This class is a very like an understandable class that if you pay attention, like you said, you will learn a lot. Unless you are not paying attention, and I really enjoyed the class, and I understood a lot
All right, thank you very much.
from the. Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you. There are many persons here. Egbe Elizabeth, Loa Toby Labo. I read I don't know how to pronounce it. Tina. All these
Yes.
are persons here. Do you have anything to say?
No, only on the discussion forum. Mine is not showing anything, sir. That's the only thing I'm having difficulty
No
with now,
problem.
sir.
I will set it now to make sure that it's open.
All right.
Hello,
Thank you very
sir.
much.
Okay. In the absence
Hello,
of any
sir. I have
question,
a question.
okay, go on
Okay.
because I want to close up.
Okay, sir. Please, do we have any area of concentration to know what we are reading?
Concentration. When we are just beginning. Do you know this class is going to last for 6 weeks more? And we are beginning now to say concentration.
Yes, sir.
Most importantly, this course is not voluminous as much as I think. It's not very voluminous. If you follow it up, you see that it is interesting. But you
Okay,
can
sir.
see how I take, if you are attending classes, you see the points they want. I don't read everything, or I don't follow everything. So there are specific areas. Take note of those areas I emphasize. They are the areas of concentration. Did
All
you get
right,
that?
sir. Thank you.
Okay, sir. I wanted to also ask, should it be that we have to start reading from, maybe if we are reading from our reading materials, do we have to start reading from the unit 2 or from the beginning of the unit to the end, or how do we go about the reading from our materials?
Okay. Yes. Yeah. What you do is that like now we have done I think unit module 1, unit 2 to 4. Then you already know that the next class we will definitely be talking about unit 5 and then module 2. So you begin to read ahead of these things. You see, when you read, there are some of them that have exercises. Uh-huh. Try for you to know that you've learned these things, you are supposed to practice the exercises. So you if you follow the teacher like it is suggested, you'll be able to read ahead so that when the lecturer is teaching or explaining more, you'll be the understanding will be more. So there are certain things you can skip, but in as much as and when you read it and it flows, you will see that yes, you actually need some of these things. Practice them, and they are not only for the use of English, they are all necessary for our understanding throughout our academic pursuit, as well as throughout even our during conversations. These things are necessary. So that's my advice. So do not read ahead. You already know where we are because you can see the particular unit and module where we are. You should know the next module, 2, 3. We do about 3 units every time, every class, at least. Yes.
Good
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Sir, please, is there a way I can get the recording so I can share to others?
The recording is always immediately I finish the class. The recording is already recorded in the cloud and shared to the students. I don't know how they share it, but if you have a problem, call the ICT and ask them how do we get the recording. The recordings are there. If I go back to my this platform now, I'll see where the recording is already done. So it's just that you are not knowledgeable of enough. But if you have problem, call somebody from ICT. If you don't have anyone you know, maybe I will call. We have Sheikh, we have Victor. These are people that are in ICT. You can easily call them. And I know when you don't did your registration, you would have been told that you have 1 or 2 things. Or go to your center and ask them 1 or 2 questions. They will be able to tell you who to call when you have such issues. Don't just don't just die in ignorance.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Yes.
sir.
So please, are there novels or books you recommend us to like read in improvement of our vocabulary, or
That's
we
a
should just
nice
focus on?
no,
Okay.
that's a nice one. I do not know novels that are close to you, but what we do is that for us that are in language, we recommend novels that are literary. That is to say, novels that are fictions and not non-fictions. So, and novels that are written in good English, so that you don't begin to learn um, um, anything, because when you are reading things that are written in bad English, that begins to be part of you. So what I will do is, what I will suggest to you, if you have a novel, we have Chinua Achebe's novel, we have Wole Soyinka's novel, some of these popular Nigerian authors, you can pick them. Or you can also pick the ones recommended by WAEC, either present or past. Those ones are good novels. That's why they have been used for. So you can choose any of them and read. The recommendation of WAEC, NECO, these things, NECO novels in literature, they are good. But some of these Nigerian big authors like Chinua Achebe, Wole Soyinka, Cyprian Ekwensi, there are many of them. So if you can't lay hands on them, you can also lay hands on contemporary, some of the new authors. But if you do, you may let us know so that we know whether they are good, good authors which you can read. Yes. Okay. I want to believe that we have shot beyond our time, but no problem since you are all there. I think you have another class, so you can leave this class for another. Thank you very much. Meet you on Wednesday
Thank
at
you, sir.
6 or
Please,
6.
sir, which class is that? Is it for admin students?
I mean, you mean this? I'm talking of GST101. We have it every
No,
Wednesday.
I mean the next class. You said that we have another class. That's what I was.
No, somebody told me last Wednesday that you will have a class. I wanted to fix this class by 3. He told me that you have another, that you will have another class.
I think that is CSS111. It's not
So
for us.
that's what somebody said. I don't know the course, but somebody mentioned that.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Please, this CSS 101, is it like an admin course or a different course for like a different department
I
type?
think it's computer course or thereabouts.
Okay, it's a computer course. Yes, yes.
Yes.